Hey, my dear 101ers. Hope that this video message finds you in good spirits and hope you've had a cool week and that you're ready to proceed onward with your efforts. So let's start up this week's module. Before actually proceeding to the logistics of our work for this week, I want to share something really cool. So as you all may know, the most recent rover sent by NASA just reached its destination on Mars. So the latest rover just touched down on Mars, and this is a really amazing thing. This new rover is called Perseverance, and what I want to share with you is part of a 360-degree image that the new rover has captured of Mars. So this is part of a photo. I was reading the article, and they were able to make a 360 view, like a 360 view photo made of 142 photos that the rover called Perseverance took. And I just want to share part of one of those vantage points from that 360 view photo. So this literally, the rover took a picture of. Check this out. Let's look at this. I'm literally speechless, guys. What we're looking at is Mars. I am speechless, and perhaps you might be too. I really encourage you to look up more of these discoveries that Perseverance is coming across. And if anything, look at the 360 view image that Perseverance has taken of Mars. Just look at this. This is a Martian floor. I'm blown away. And it's with that we start this week's module. Wow, huh, guys? Wow. Just look at that. It reminds me of it's like the color of ground coffee or chocolate milk. I thought of like a lot of chocolate milk powder. You guys know that chocolate milk powder. It looks a lot like that. But it's Mars. And look at how high definition that the quality is of this image. I'm blown away. And with that, we start this week's module. So we start with our syllabus, of course. As you know, we are already at week 3, just like that, huh? So therefore, our corresponding module is, of course, module 3. And we have here intertextuality and the pandemic essay, which is our new essay. That was a typo. So intertextuality is going to be a very important topic for our class here in 101, because it pertains to citation practices and the importance of citation practices. And that will include things such as in-text citations, as well as the works cited page. And by the end of this week's module and the homework that will accompany it, you'll be happy and proud to say that you can finally navigate the world of in-text citations. And you'll be able to also say that you'll be able to also create your own works cited page with the sources that you used. And it will actually make logical sense to you, and you'll be able to not only have to depend on things like Citation Machine or EasyBiv, but you'll understand how to finally do the works cited, how to create your own works cited page. So that's what we have in store for us this week. We have intertextuality, and we have our very first essay, which this video is going to cover. So take a look at what we have due, guys. So, okay, we already said I'm assigning the first essay and the accompanying brainstorm. Brainstorms are really important because, like we've been talking about, writing is a process. Writing has different stages. It has brainstorming, it has the rough draft, it has the writing workshop, it has the final draft, and the crazy thing is that writers keep writing and writing and refining their work as writing is recursive, you see. Okay, so we have the first essay and the brainstorm, and the brainstorm is going to be due by the end of this module, so by next Sunday, March 7. Look at that, guys, we're already entering March. So long, February, and hello, March. So this is the accompanying homework, the MLA practice worksheet, and that one is going to be actually due at the end of next week's module. So that's going to be due by Sunday, by March 14th. So that's the accompanying homework assignment that goes with the intertextuality lesson. So with that being said, let's dive into our actual module here so we can take a look at it. Look at this, here we are. So the first video that you saw in this series of videos for this module is the actual lesson on intertextuality, and so if you haven't watched that already, make sure to do so. And as we said, the accompanying worksheet that goes with that is going to be due at the end of next week's module, so March 14. There it is. All right, so that is that. Now, what this video is going to go into is this stuff here. So our very first essay. So please be so kind as to follow along. We're going to open this page here that's called Pandemic Essay Particularities. It's our very first essay, guys. So go ahead and open the prompt. It's a Word document. Let's download this. What a picture, huh, guys? There we go. This is us. This is our first essay. So let me move this to the side. All right. So here we are. Pandemic essay. Wow. Look at this picture, huh? So, okay. 2020 has been a difficult year for many of us. I'd say for all of us. One of the more prominent events is the worldwide pandemic that we are currently experiencing. Because of this, our lives have changed in many ways. In fact, it's even quite probable that some of these changes have gone under our radar. Just like with any change in life, these can take the shape of both gains and losses. This essay is a gift from me to you to take a moment to take stock and notice more deeply just how your life has changed as a result of our current pandemic. So here's the task. Write an essay where you answer this central question. So this is your central question. How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? I know for me, it's changed a lot. I really miss the classroom, guys. I miss you, my students. So here are the guiding questions. Now, always when I was a student, I always appreciated when my teachers would give me guiding questions whenever they would present prompts, because it would help me to frame my thinking more intentionally towards a direction of what the prompt was asking for, right? So that's really my intention here. I want to point your thinking towards this direction so as to more fully answer this question. How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? What have been your gains? What have been your losses? Have you had more gains or more losses? Explain. If you have obtained some gains, would you be able to achieve those without the pandemic? Now, for me, I would say a gain is that I've always liked learning languages. I've always liked languages, and though I did take French in high school and college, but I had never really reached the level of fluency. It wasn't until now that I found myself with more time that I discovered something called Italki. I'll plug it for you guys. That's strange. Here, I just want to type it out here. it's called Italki. It's a website, so www.italki.com. And it's really cool because it lets you connect with language tutors. So you can take lessons with them, and the prices are set by the tutors. So they're very, very, you can find comfortable ones. And there's people that teach their language and they're in different parts of the world. And that's all sorts of languages, even sign language, which I think it's one of the next ones that I want to learn. But anyways, why I'm talking about this is because I would say that a gain for me is that now I've been taking more French lessons, like on a one-on-one basis, and I'm learning a lot more, and I'm getting closer to my goal of reaching fluency so that I can travel to a French-speaking country and communicate. I've also been taking Japanese, though I did take, I think I took till Japanese too at Mount Sec, but I never really, continued studying or learning, but this way has helped me so much. Italki, I've been learning German as well. I just started German. So I would say for me, this newfound time has really permitted me to, in a more dedicated fashion, study my languages and continue learning. So how has what have been some gains for you that this time has given us? We've been having all this time here, so how have you been using it? So talk about that. Write some more guiding questions in your brainstorm. So this is pretty neat. It's kind of like working backwards. So based upon this question, how has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? What would you want to ask yourself? What would you want to ask yourself so as to get a better answer, to get more deep information of this? How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? So if you come up with more guiding questions, then you're going to have a place in your brainstorm to write those. It's like, what do you want to ask yourself more about this topic so that you can help yourself continue to navigate towards better answering this question in your essay. So in terms of format, as we've been talking about, MLA is the format that is used here in the humanities. So based on what we've been learning and all that, then of course this is an MLA. It's no different. 1 inch, that includes 1 inch margins all around. One of these two fonts, right? Times New Roman or Arial. No wingdings. Do you guys know what wingdings is? Wingdings was this font that had like peace signs, and it was like its own quirky thing. Look it up. Wingdings, it's called. Okay, so 12-point font, double spaced, right? And a works cited page. If you actually bring in outside sources. If you bring in any information from a source that is not you, then you have to have a works cited page, which actually is going to be part of this week's lesson. So stay tuned for that. All right, a minimum of 3.5 full double-spaced pages. And here's how the distribution of points will work. So the actual essay itself will be worth a maximum of 100 points. Just like with all the major essays that we'll be doing in this class, we're going to have a peer review workshop for it, and that's going to be worth 20 points. And another one is following correct MLA format and having the works cited page if you actually called upon other sources other than yourself, even whether that's from a fact or just to give more context about what's happening here in the pandemic or anything like that, or statistics, then of course you're calling from another source, so that would be included in your works cited page. So having that would be 5 points for a total of 125 points, right? Here are the important dates. So the brainstorm for this essay will be due at the end of this module. So that'll be Sunday, March 7. We'll be doing our workshop next week, actually. So do be working on your rough draft of this paper. Now, when we say a rough draft is not only an outline. A rough draft is you actually just going forth and just starting the essay. Just start writing it. And here's the thing, my friends. There is no such thing as a perfect first draft. There is no such thing as a perfect first draft. To put it crassly, you have to just vomit out your ideas, no matter how disjointed and all over the place. Just get it out. Just type. Just start typing. Just start typing. And for the rough draft, I'm going to ask that you have at least 2 pages done of the essay. Your rough draft should be at least 2 pages, and that's going to be due by Wednesday of the next module. So the week of 3/8. Just want to show you here on the calendar. Oh, sorry, not calendar. I meant here in our module. I actually have the info here for our workshop. So Wednesday, March 10, that's when your rough draft is going to be due. So do be working on that. So that's 2 Wednesdays from now. So that's what we'll be doing for next week. But yeah, and if you actually want to look at how the workshop will go, or just some of the questions that your classmates will be looking at as they draft your paper, because I'll explain next week the logistics of it. Then you could take a little glance at this, but I'll go into further detail of it next week. But just mark your calendars that the rough draft of at least 2 pages will be due by March 10. So mark your calendars there. All right, let's continue with our prompt here. So that's our workshop. It's for the next module. And the final draft itself will be due March 21, so Sunday. So again, mark your calendars there. Here's our rubric. Strong papers will have the following traits. So in terms of content, a strong paper will explicitly, answer the central question in their thesis. So, first of all, the central question, my friends, is this, right? How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? So, in your thesis, which is the whole writerly project of your paper, then you have to answer this question. Your thesis has to be your answer to this question. So that's the first thing I'm looking for. Your paper, a strong paper, will also demonstrate clear, insightful, relevant, and deep critical thinking. The treatment of topic is thorough. Now in terms of organization, has a strong, engaging intro and conclusion. Organizes body paragraphs to all speak back and somehow support their central thesis. So here's the thing. Everything in your body paragraphs. Okay, let's talk about this. So if the thesis is the main point, the main project for the whole paper, then the main point of your paragraphs is called a topic sentence. And then everything else are supporting sentences that support your topic sentences. So all of your topic sentences and everything that you're doing throughout your body paragraphs should all somehow support some element of what your answer was in your thesis, right? Of how has your life changed as a result of this pandemic, right? There'll be places where you can further flesh that out, what you said in your thesis, and just offer examples and things like that. So everything should point back to your thesis. Remember that. That's what cohesion is in essays, right? In essay writing. Employs effective transitions. Oh, so for last week's module, we actually covered transitions. We did it with the fortnight homework assignment. Good job with that one, guys. It was cool looking at your responses there. So make sure to have those transitions between paragraphs. MLA, okay, properly cite sources, if any, with MLA format. After this week's module, you will be experts on MLA and in-text citations and works cited pages. Few or no errors in spelling, punctuation, grammar, or format. So of course, always before submitting a final draft, you want to make sure that you submit that you run through a spell check, and that you go through all of the you go through a thorough proofreading, right? Distinctive voice and appropriate point of view. Now, by its very nature, this paper is intrinsically a narrative, so it's calling you to really reflect on and share your own experience in terms of this question. How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? So of course, in this case, you are the primary source, right? So since it's a narrative, make sure to maintain that first person point of view consistent throughout your paper, okay? Next, we're going to take a look at the brainstorm, which is a really important part of the writing process. And for that, we return to our module for this week. And if you take a look at our particularities and both here, the assignment link, we have the worksheet for the actual brainstorm itself. So simply download it. Let's wait a moment. Oh, it's a little bit slow in downloading. So check it out. This is our brainstorm. At the top, we have our central question. How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? On one side is the gain side, right? Here's an example of some way that has helped me. So because we have been doing all this online stuff, and because I've been home more, I've actually had the opportunity to further improve my language skills. I really like foreign languages, and I like studying languages. And now through Italki, which I mentioned, I've been learning more French and getting closer to my goal of reaching fluency, so that I can one day visit French-speaking countries. So this is my example. The time here has been helping me to study more languages, and particularly French. I'm improving on more. The other side is gains. So you just write down some of these things. What are some gains that you've had as a result of this pandemic, and some losses on this side. This side is if you have any other guiding questions that you would want to ask yourself pertaining to this question here. How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? I kind of like to see it like pretend, like if you step outside of yourself and become the friend that asks you, hey, how has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? What are some things that friend would want to know, right? Pertaining to this. So right here, you can write some more additional guiding questions that you'd want to ask yourself. And then, also alongside that, you can also include the actual response, right? Like how would you actually answer those questions yourself, right? This next one is really important, my working thesis. So we covered the thesis, and we have ID, we have claim, we have direction. So your thesis has to directly answer this question. How has your life changed as a result of this pandemic? So go ahead and write your working thesis here. So that's it. That's what we have for our brainstorm. We have one side gains, we have one side losses. And if there are any additional guiding questions that you'd want to ask yourself, then include that here. And alongside those questions, you can also write how you would answer those, right? And then you absolutely need the working thesis too. So that's the brainstorm, guys. And the link for it is, the assignment link for it is here. And that's going to be due March 7, right? So be working on that. The workshop, I'll cover that more next week. Just be sure to be mindful of the fact that the rough draft of at least 2 pages is going to be due by Wednesday of the next module, right? So in 2 Wednesdays. Here is the homework link for the MLA practice worksheet, which will be due on the 14th. And that's it for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you want to set up a Zoom meeting. All right, guys, I wish you an awesome week. Bye-bye.